English, and in today's class we are going to discuss about speaking skills. When we talk about speaking skills, we all understand the importance of speaking, and we also know how important it is to convey our thoughts or the information that we want to share or the instruction that we want to give to others in proper manner. If this communication or if there is any kind of stoppage or hindrance in the flow of communication, people cannot understand. So we have discussed in our previous classes about the process of communication, about the forms of communication, and also what could be the barriers and how one can eliminate the barriers in order to have a free flow of communication. But the biggest challenge here that generally good communicator faces is lack of content. When we do not have the content, we find it very difficult to communicate. We find it very difficult to share our information or instruct people in a proper way or inform people in a proper way or even sometimes to educate. So when we want to communicate in a proper way, we should understand that the content matters a lot. If you have the content or if you have the right quantum of content in your memory, you can very easily communicate with others. Then comes the way of communication. Of course, once when the content is there, certainly you people will see that when you are speaking, you are very confident. So the three C's that are very important when we speak is the content, the communication, as well as the confidence level. So if you have good content, certainly you will be blessed with not only confidence, but also you can communicate very well. Now, when we talk further related to speaking skills, we should understand that the way we speak can be can vary from situation to situation, from circumstance to circumstance. In different situation, in different circumstance, you may have to use the different variety of or type of speech. So let us understand about the basic different types of speeches that are generally used by the managerial or technical experts in order to conduct or in order to have the free flow of communication without any hindrance. The first one is impromptu. Now, the word itself suggests prompt. Prompt means something wherein the answer or the response comes without any gap or without any without any time span, or without, you can say that it's on the spur of the moment. Immediately, once when somebody has asked you a question, immediately you need to respond to it. That is called as prompt. So impromptu is exactly the way you are going to think and then you are going to respond to the person the moment somebody asks you, the moment somebody questions you onto some of the topic. So whenever we talk about impromptu speeches are those speeches wherein people expect that you have sufficient knowledge. People do expect that you have sufficient quantum of content in your memory. And so you will be able to speak about the given topic without giving the time for preparation. So without any preparation time, without waiting for you to prepare and then to present, this happens immediately, instantly. The instant approach that you're going to apply in order to present your thought or in order to convey the information to the audience would be in the form of impromptu speeches. Now, let me make you understand with the help of a small example so that it becomes easy for you to understand how do we use impromptu speeches. Now, in order to understand impromptu, let us take a situation. Let us understand that you are attending a meeting. This meeting was actually scheduled between your senior and the client. You know what the product is, you know what the features are, you know what are the advantages and benefits, you know exactly what your boss is going to convey. And because the basic preparation was done by you, and so it is your boss who's going to present the presentation to the client. All of a sudden, there is an important call which the boss cannot ignore or cannot neglect. So therefore, what he or she is going to ask you to do is he will say that you can continue. Meanwhile, he's going to come and join after finishing the conversation. So, what are you doing? You are stepping into the shoes of your senior and you start talking about the product without taking time to prepare. So, such kind of speeches are called as impromptu. Say, for example, your teacher has asked you a question. You don't know the answer, but the person who is sitting next to you, he or she knows the answer. You will see that they respond to the question immediately without waiting for their turn. Such things are, such an example can be a best example for impromptu. Impromptu is immediately without wasting or without taking too much of time to prepare. The answer that or the response that you're going to give to the question that is asked, to the problem statement that is raised, or to any of the information that is required. Such kind of speeches are called as impromptu speeches. Impromptu speeches checks your ability of understanding the situation. How do you respond to the different question? How do you handle the situations? And even how do you handle difficult situations? These are certain things that you have to keep in your mind. And impromptu also proves that you are a quick learner. You can understand the situation, you can understand the scenario that is given, and then certainly you can step into the responsibility of your senior. Then comes the next, extempore. Extempore is something where people will not be given any handouts, but they will be given proper time to prepare their speech. Such kind of speeches are generally used when you are interacting with certain people, wherein you have to answer certain questions. Say, for example, you are attending a talk wherein people or the journalist or reporters or maybe the other party are willing to ask you certain questions, and they want to know how how your organization is better than the other, or how your product is different from the other, why they should purchase only from you, why not from others. So for such kind of questions, the answers are to be prepared by you, isn't it? And you cannot look into the manuscript, you cannot read from the paper, because that again shows that you are not confident enough, you are reading from the material. So please remember, extempore are those kind of speeches where, given time to prepare, you will be asked to prepare for certain questions, but again, when responding to these questions, you are not supposed to look from the documents, you are not supposed to look from the manuscript. Then comes the next, that is role play. Now, here, role play is something where you are taking up the responsibility of other. For example, your class teacher is on leave and the class is really making a hell of noise. So what do you do? Being the class monitor, if you are the class monitor, or if you are really a sensible or a good child who wants to maintain discipline and decorum of the class, you will immediately step into the shoes of your class teacher and you will take up the class, and you may schedule different activities. You may plan for certain events, you may plan for certain activity, you may engage the students in different way, you can conduct a quiz, you can conduct an activity. What are you doing? You are not the class teacher, you are not even the subject teacher, but still you understood the situation and accordingly you started taking up the responsibility. Your father and mother are out of station and your brother is along with you who is younger to you. So what do? You take up the responsibility of your parents, you take care of your younger one. What are you doing? You are taking up the role and responsibility of others. Similarly, even when you are speaking, many a times you may have to take up the role and responsibilities of your seniors. So when you are taking up that responsibility, then such kind of speeches are called as role play. Please remember, under role play, the responsibility will be shouldered by the person whosoever is going to speak or communicate. um, Let me let me explain this with the help of an example. When we are talking about role plays, for instance, there is a manager, Mr. Bhaskar, who is supposed to give a presentation. All right, and all of a sudden, you and Mr. Bhaskar both are in the same team. Now, as you both are in the same team, you have also prepared the presentation, and at the same time, Mr. Bhaskar has also prepared the presentation. Now, this was a collective teamwork. Now, when you have completed the presentation, the responsibility of presenting the presentation was given to Mr. Bhaskar. All of a sudden, on the very fine day when the presentation was actually supposed and planned, and when he was supposed to deliver the presentation to the client or the customer, because of sore throat, he is now not in that good position to present the presentation. So what are you going to do? Will you say that let us delay this, let us postpone this, let us wait for Mr. Bhaskar to improve his health, and then we are going to give the presentation? Certainly not. What are you going to do? You are going to step into the shoes of Mr. Bhaskar, and in his presence, you are going to present the presentation. What are you doing? You are taking up the responsibility that was actually supposed to be presented or taken up by Mr. Bhaskar. Such kind of example or such kind of speeches are called as role play. The next is manuscript. Manuscripts are those wherein you are going to read from the documents. I want you to recall the budget sessions. Whenever we talk about any of the budget session, you must have seen different finance manager, the different ministers of the cabinet. They give their budget every year, every financial year, or every annual year. You will see certain people coming they start giving their financial budget report. So what is it? They read from the documents, which talks about the total expenses, which talks about the total income, and then how much is forecast. What is the forecast for the future? That forecasting is done in the form of a report or in the form of a speech. Such speeches are called as manuscript because they require lots of document, and the documents will help people to convey about the facts. It will help them to convey the figures. It will also give them some evidence or proof in order to communicate with authority. Otherwise people may not listen to them. Hypothetical information will not be accepted. So therefore anything which is imaginary, anything which is just in words but not in fact, this will not be accepted. So manuscripts are again very important when people are presenting either about their research, about their reports, about their project, about something wherein the speech that they are going to present is too lengthy and it is very difficult for a person to recall and remember all the necessary information which are to be presented for the understanding of the audience. So such kind of speeches are prepared wherein you're going to use the document from where you're going to read. Such kind of speech is called as manuscript. Then finally comes the next last one, that is debate. Now debate is a kind of speech where people will have different opinion, people will have two different thoughts, two different ideas, and based on those two different thoughts and ideas, some may work in favor, some may work against. Say for example there is a person who wants to understand the about the benefits or about the advantages, who wants to know more about the positivity of that particular action or activity or that responsibility, but there could be certain people who may stand against it. So if there are two different options and opinion where people are having different sort of ideas, different sort of explanation, different sort of understanding, there you will see that people will have contradictory opinions. Such kind of contradictory opinion where people may stand for or against, some may be in favor, some may not be in favor. So such kind of speeches are called as debate. So make sure that when you talk about speeches, these are not to be meant for only competition and winning prizes. Generally, when we talk to a student who is in graduation or who has joined the undergrad course, you will see that uh, students, they believe that impromptu or extempore or role play, these are meant only for winning the prizes. No, they are not. Please remember, if you know or if you have developed the art of speaking, either through impromptu or extempore or through manuscript or through role plays or debate, this is going to help you a lot. I want you to remember certain things which you might have heard in your previous classes. We talk a lot about interview process, and we also know the importance of group discussion. Generally when a teacher conducts the class, and when the teacher has given a scenario where there are people who may agree as well as who may disagree, there again starts a debate. This debate takes it in the form of a group discussion. So what do you mean by group discussion? Where there are no proper team, people from the different from the different segment, from the different batches, from the different classes, they may join together to have one single opinion. There will be one group who may have one kind of opinion, and there is other group who is having different kind of opinion. So people who are into different groups, people who understand about the problems and scenarios in different way, when they join together to express their thoughts and their ideas, such kind of discussion and wherein they share their ideas and thoughts in order to convince that people again they should also understand and they can think in the same way. Such kind of explanations or responsibilities is called as group discussion. Group discussion is generally conducted during the time of interview process in order to identify who are the candidates who are very good at communication, who are very confident, and at the same time who have strong content in their memory box. So keep this in your mind that group discussions are very, very important, and you are often going to encounter their same when you are appearing for the interview process. Now, when we talk about speech and when we are talking about improving our speeches, so how can we improve our speech? What are the things that we have to keep in our mind when we are preparing for a speech? Here are the basic principles that you have to keep in your mind if you really want to bring effectiveness in your speech. The first one is verbal plus non-verbal. Always remember, whenever you are giving a speech, you have to focus not only on the verbal concept but also on the non-verbal. Now, though this may not be possible every time when you are conducting any of the sessions of that is online basis, but of course even in online where people will be asking you to present your opinion and thought, where the video is on, you have to again keep equal importance, or you have to emphasize more on non-verbal as well as the verbal, because most of the time 90% of our communication that impacts on the mind of the audience is only through the non-verbal instead of verbal. Many a times people believe that whatever they have said, that matters a lot. Of course that matters a lot, but apart from that, whatever you are speaking, the way you are going to communicate that same, the way you are going to present your body language, the way you are going to convey the expressions through your non-verbal communication, that again matters a lot. The content matters again. The way you are going to communicate, the content that you are using, the knowledge that you are having related to that subject matter matters a lot. Please remember, using the right sources is again very important. Wikipedia is an open source. Most of the time when a teacher asks a student to prepare the presentation or to write certain article or to collect the information, generally we see that students, they immediately google and they collect the information from Wikipedia. Now you need to keep this in your mind that of course the information that is shared on Wikipedia, we cannot say that it is absolutely wrong, but it is an open source. There is no authentication of that particular sources, so therefore you have to identify what are the right sources, from where to collect the information, how to present the information, whether the information that is shared is logical or not. I want you to once again remember and recall the three things that we have discussed while writing the paragraph. The same thing will be applied over here when you are speaking. That is unity, coherence, and logicality. If you are logically connecting your thoughts and there is unity in and coherence, that is the proper connectivity of one thought with the other, so automatically you will see that the information that you want to communicate will be very easily understood by the audience. The words that we are using, say for example, if you are communicating, do not use jargons. Jargons are those technical terms or technical abbreviations which are generally used in the organizations, which a common man may not be knowing. So avoid using jargons, avoid using unnecessary abbreviations, and even not to show your knowledge skills, not to show your oratory skills by using unfamiliar words. Try to keep it simple, short, and straightforward, as this is told time and again. Please remember, catch the attention of the audience because they are the one who are going to listen to you. So if you want to really become or would like to become a good speaker, you have to emphasize on your speaking skills. How do you grab the attention of the audience? How do you generate and create that interest in the mind of the audience? For that, you should remember, speaking is an art, and this art can be improvised when you know how to connect the dots, or when you know how to connect or hook the ideas that are running or that are flowing in the mind of the audience. This can be done by creating a small story, that is anecdote, or by adding humor, not to criticize, not to insult others, not to humiliate others, but to have that fun or element of fun in order to make the audience feel light and comfortable in your presence. You can start even with good quotations, some thought provoking questions, and even interesting statistics or the data which can grab the attention of the audience. Please work out on the fluency. Even if you are speaking too fast, people cannot understand. If you are too slow, then too, people cannot understand. So work out on the fluency because this is very essential. Listeners get engaged if you are having the right fluency. So, boys and girls, when you are going to work out on these common principles, that is verbal plus non-verbal, when you can check not only your words but also the way you're going to express your thoughts and action, the content that you're going to present, the words that you are going to use, the attention of the audience should be proper, and transparency, you will see certainly you will be very confident enough and you can present your ideas in the best way. Your speaking skills will be improvised and you can communicate very well, even if you are presenting any impromptu or extempore, or presenting a role play, or reading from the manuscript, or debating in a group discussion. So I want you all to focus on these principles if you really want to improve your speaking skills. Trust me, reading and listening, speaking, these are regular processes. You cannot say that today, if I speak well, tomorrow I can do the same. This will, or this is possible only when you are applying the four P's, that is, plan, prepare, practice, and present. Not to forget these four P's. If you are planning very well, you can definitely uh, practice it very well, because if you know what exactly you want to speak, what exactly you want to read, what exactly you want to listen, certainly your mind is going to motivate you. It is going to concentrate and focus on that particular topic, and you can present your ideas and thoughts in the best possible manner. So once when that is done, certainly you can prepare. And once when preparation is done, the practice matters a lot. How well do you practice? It's not in a single day. If you are an active listener, every day you will turn as an active listener. From day to day, from time to time, from mood to mood, from situation to situation, how much emotional impact and how well do you manage your emotions, this matters a lot. And how do you maintain that balance between your emotions, that is your intelligence as well as emotions, this again matters a lot. So therefore you should remember, practice again matters a lot. And finally, how well do you present? So if you work out on planning, preparing, practicing, and at the same time presentation, certainly these four P's are going to help you to present your thoughts in the better way. So when we talk about presentation of the thought, point one, you will become a good listener. Point two, you will understand the concepts in a better way because you have read very well. And then finally, you will be able to speak very well. You will be presenting the content with a great confidence through your communication skills. So I hope everybody will start improving their listening ability. You will be able to speak very well if you can listen very well. Read regularly if you really want to improve your level of content so that you can write very well. So that's all in today's class. We will meet once again with some other topic in the next class. Till then, take care of yourself and have a fantastic day ahead.